So where do you go on a new map? Lagoon has just been released and I've got to honestly say it is hella confusing. There are lots of options and roads to go for. So first of all, we are starting here with the positions, and afterwards I'm going to still show you some moves you might be going for later on for winning the game, and also some side to avoid maybe, and some better side potentially as well, because I think this map does have a better side after all. So starting with the first spots here, I think there is one good first spot that you can go for, which is just on this hill here. Works from both sides quite nicely, where you can spot enemies crossing over to the A side. This spot does require you to wait a bit, so just don't be surprised if the enemies are not there immediately. But at the same time, you can only spot enemies going towards A. From the other side though, on the C side, you cannot spot the enemies that nicely. Also, if you're going for B, then you might also not get a ton of spots, which is quite different to many other maps where you can be in the middle of the map and spot all the relocations, rotations of the enemy teams and farm a lot of damage. Here on this map, if you're going for the middle, you can also have some nice hull down spot here right behind the B, yet there is not much you can shoot apart from the tank right to your front. The B cap also, I've got to mention here, is just very exposed in the middle of the map, can be decapped quite nicely from lots of different positions, so you better don't go for it. But also here, talking about B, I noticed, okay, there are lots of roads you might get pushed from, so I would rather not be there actually, although it might sound like a good option here, or it might seem like it. I would probably not go for this, and if I'm playing a heavy tank or medium tank TD, I would rather go for the C side here, where you can get quite aggressive right in front of the enemies and are still relatively secure there, and can also have some good options for later moves then that I will talk about in a second. But first of all, this is the main heavy spot here, which is also covered by some TD spot that is right behind and also overlooking the whole C area from a bush, so that's quite perfect for this side here. If we are then talking about moves to go for on C here, you do have this ramp right to your front if you're just crossing over to the enemy side, basically from the main starting position I already talked about. Then you might have the option of getting into some great hull down spot right above a lot of enemies and can shoot down onto all of them. Just make sure you have enough backup for going for this move then. Also, once you are there, you can just farm a bit, and also you do have a pretty nice sniper nest that allows you to shoot into the B area or so after you cleared those enemies on C then. By the way, this also works from the B side. You can also move up onto that bridge from the B area, yet it is also connected to a bit more of a risk because you might still have some enemies to your back. In a lot of cases, the team is also moving towards the A side, which is generally not really my preferred option, but also the A side works quite nicely. It is the heavy side here, and if you're on the way towards base A, then make sure to already pre-aim the first spot that I mentioned, because you might be able to sneak in some first shot into some medium or light tank over there. Also then you're pushing forwards into this little bush here that is not really too far to the side and still a bit further to the middle, because it does allow you to crossfire those guys on A quite nicely and also potentially push forwards there. But the main point is that I do not like pushing into corners at the start, because I don't know what is ahead and how many tanks there are, how many teammates I do have as backup. So I would rather stick a bit further to the middle here, just put out some shots and move forwards then. On the A side, there is a lot of flat terrain. Yes, you do have some little hull down spots there as well, but you will really struggle to safely push forwards, as there are also some TD positions right behind to cover that area. But a bit of a problem is here with this side, and that is that you can get flanked around by the mediums, and then you have some guys in the back and you will struggle to fight them off. Also, you might struggle to push forwards, so there definitely is some advantage to the C side in that regard, because you do have much better pushing opportunities that are a lot safer as well. But so far the problem is mainly on many games, teammates just don't really know where to go yet and they're splitting up, and this is really quite problematic. So let's hope some meta will still establish on this map as well. Also, of course, I'm hoping that you guys just learned something about this map from this guide now and will do a lot better in the future then. Let me know how it goes. This is Nino, thanks for watching, goodbye.